Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Robert Sports Show. I'm your host, Robert. As we look at the NASCAR starts its 75th anniversary season, we look back on those 74 previous years, and we can see the greats of the greats. We've already went down some of the champion profiles, some of the driver profiles of the great drivers throughout that history. We've done top car number starts, so the number of races per car number. We've seen the best top 10. Now it's time to look at those top 10 wins by car number. So these are going to be the 10 winningest car numbers. Now, a lot of people talk about why aren't NASCAR numbers retired like other sports, like stick and ball sport. You know what? My opinion is, if you look back on the New York Yankees, the number 3, Babe Ruth. I mean, you know these iconic numbers. But if you look at NASCAR numbers, look at the number 3 in NASCAR. Depends on what era you're a fan of. For some people, the number 3 is Austin Dillon. For some people, it's Dale Earnhardt. For some people, it goes back to Richard Childress. There are other people, it goes back to Junior Johnson. It goes back to Ned Jarrett. You look at the number 48. You look at a certain fan level. Alex Bowman's the only one they know. They may know Jimmy Johnson. I go back to James Hilton driving the 48. You look at the 43. Most people, unless you've been a fan since 1992, you've heard Richard Petty drove the 43, but you don't associate 43 with Richard Petty. But yeah, when you get to these top 10 car numbered by wins, you see some kind of interesting numbers like, oh, that person drove that number and won a race. So we're going to get started. Number 10 on the list is the car number 4. The number 4 has 82 Cup Series wins. First race came in 1954 at Carroll Speedway. John Soros drove it. His only career win. 10 different drivers have won races in the number 4, led by Kevin Harvick with 37, Rex White with 26, Ernie Irvan with 7, Sterling Marlin 6, Bobby Hamilton, Casey Kane, Billy Myers, yes, that Billy Myers, Chocolate Myers' uncle, John Soros, Al Keller, and Bob Welborn each won races. Number 9 on the list, the number 6, 83 career wins. The first one came in 1951. Marshall Tigg at the Daytona Beach Road Course. 12 different drivers have won at least one Cup race in the number 6. Mark Martin leads the way with 35. David Pearson with 27. Marshall Tigg with 7. Cotton Owens with 6. Buddy Baker, Charlie Glassback, Pete Hamilton, Bobby Allison, Joe Eubanks, and Danny Lettner all won races in the number 6. Coming in at number 8 on the list, the number 22 with 87 wins. The first one came in 1949, the second ever race in NASCAR history at Daytona Beach Road Course. The 1949 NASCAR Strictly Stock champion, Red Byron, won that race. Red Byron actually won 2 races in the number 22. Fireball Roberts has the most with 30, Joe Logano at 29, which Joey is a fan of the history of the sport as well, and he you hear him in interviews talk about it sometimes. I think when he gets that next win and ties Fireball Roberts for the most wins in the 22, I think that'll mean something to him. Bobby Allison with 17, Ward Burton 5, Kurt Busch and Red Byron 2, Dick Brooks and Chuck Stevenson 1 each. Number 7 on the list comes the number 48. What is so weird about the number 48? I'm trying to look at another one the 24 is even more rare. Only 4 drivers ever won a Cup race in the 48. In the 91 races, 4 different drivers. The first race came in 1951 at Gander Speedway. Bill Norton. Jimmy Johnson, 83 wins. Not surprising there. Alex Bowman 5. James Hilton 2. Bill Norton 1. Like I said, the 48. And when I first started watching racing, James Hilton drove the 48. Number 6 on the list, the famed number 21 for the Wood Brothers. I know over the years the Wood Brothers had different car numbers, but the number 21 for the most part was their most historic number. 92 wins for the number 21. First one came in 1950 at the Daytona Beach Road Course. Harold Kite. Overall, 19 different drivers won races in the number 21, led by David Pearson with 43, Cale Yarborough with 13, Neil Bonnet with 9, Marvin Panch with 8, AJ Foyt, the wrong AJ. AJ Foyt with 4, Speedy Thompson with 2. Number 5 on the list is that number 24. We all know it as the Rainbow Warrior colors. 97 career wins for that number. The first win for the number 24 came in 1994. Charlotte Coca-Cola 600. Jeff Gordon. Yeah, Jeff Gordon got the first Cup Series win for that number. Only Jeff Gordon and William Byron have ever won races driving the number 24 in the Cup Series. Jeff 93 wins, William Byron 4 wins. Number 4 on the list. There is a number that it was gone for quite a while, but it came back. It was, as the driver would say, it was Pop Pop's number. We're talking about the number 3. 101 career wins. First win, 1954. Oakland Speedway, Dick Rathman. 13 different drivers have won races in that number 3, obviously led by Dale Earnhardt Sr. with 67. Junior Johnson with 9. Paul Goldsmith with 5. Austin Dillon with 4. Dick Ratham, David Pearson each with 3. Buddy Baker, Ricky Rudd, and Buck Baker each with 2. When I look at certain numbers, should the number 3, for instance, be retired? I mean, Pearson had wins in it. He's a 3-time champion. Junior Johnson had 9 wins in it. Dale had, I think, 60 of his wins in it. He had 6 championships in it. You would have to retire so many numbers. After a while, you would be the 05 and then the 92 and all those, or 91 would be good popular numbers and that kind of thing. I don't think we should retire numbers. I think it actually adds to the historic factor. You look at some of the numbers on starts, who started races in the number 2. Rusty Wallace, Brad Keselowski, Kurt Busch, Bobby Allison, Dale Earnhardt, I like the fact, number 11, Denny Hamilton has the most starts. Ned Jarrett, Brett Bodine, Cale Yarborough, Darrell Waltrip, Terry Labonte. Of those 6 drivers, we have 5 Hall of Famers. I mean, yeah, I like the way it is right now. So the number 3, currently driven by Austin Dillon, and like Austin said when he came to the Cup Series, he wanted Pop Pop's number. It wasn't about Dale. It wasn't about that. It was about, that was his grandfather's number, when Richard drove. All right, number 3 on the list comes the number 2, also with 101 victories. The number 2 and the number 3 each have 101 victories. That is pretty awesome. First win came in 1950 at Vernon Speedway. Bill Blair. 11 different drivers have won races in the number 2. Led by Rusty Wallace with 37, Brad Keselowski with 34, Kurt Busch with 8, Bobby Allison with 7, Dale Earnhardt with 6, Bill Blair with 3, Tim Richmond with 2. We all know Austin Cindric got his first with Daytona 500 2022. Number 2 on the list. This might be surprising to some people. Number 2 on the list, the number 43. That number 43 now has 200 wins. The first win came in 1959 at North Wilkesboro with Lee Petty behind the wheel. Yes, you heard me correctly. Lee Petty won the first win for the number 43 in 1959. 7 different drivers have won races in that famous 43. Richard Petty, 192. So 8 of Richard Petty's wins came in other car numbers. Some in 42, some in 41. Bobby Hamilton and Jim Pascal both won 2 races. Eric Almirola, John Andretti, Eric Jones, and Lee Petty each with 1. The car number with the most wins in NASCAR Cup Series history, the number 11, 228 wins. First one came in 1957, Parnelli Jones. 13 different drivers have won races in the number 11. Cale Yarborough with 55, Ned Jarrett with 49, Denny Hamlin with 48, Darrell Waltrip with 43, Junior Johnson himself with 11, Bill Elliott with 6, Terry Labonte with 4, and Jeff Bodine with 4. Now, as the NASCAR historian that I become, when I look at this list of 8 drivers, Cale drove for Junior Johnson. Darrell Waltrip, Junior Johnson. Junior Johnson drove for Junior Johnson. Bill Elliott drove for Junior Johnson. Terry Labonte and Jeff Bodine all drove for Junior Johnson in number 11. Number 11, it was Budweiser when I became a fan. Before that, I think it was Gatorade, and I think Busch at one point, and then Holly Farms had it when Cale had it. And I think Ned was driving number 11 before before it became associated with Junior Johnson. But yeah, so the number 11, as a fan that I've been since 1986, the number 11, that's the Junior Johnson. You know, Denny Hamlin now, obviously, but it's like when I associate the numbers, it's like, oh yeah, that's Junior Johnson's car. This, you know, run down the list of drivers he had. You know, number 21's Wood Brothers, 43's are Petty Motorsports. But those are the top 10 wins by car number. We've already look at the top 10 starts by car number. We have some other interesting topics as we run down these 74 years of stats as we get ready to celebrate the 75th anniversary of the NASCAR Cup Series. As always, thanks for watching the Rubber Sports Show, and don't just have a great day, have a spiffy day. Rubber Sports Show, your YouTube leader in sports channel content.